Hello, my name is Sally Pinto, and I'm the Program Director for the Yonkers Newark Neighborhood Naturally Occurring Retirement Community. We serve seniors 60 plus in Northeast Yonkers. We are under the auspices of WJCS and the Yonkers Office for the Aging. We also have a resource specialist and a nurse on staff. We conduct virtual programming in partnership with the Yonkers Public Library on a daily basis. Enjoy the program.
Everybody, thank you, Pam, Alexis, Mary, Z, Sally. Always good to be with everybody, to be here with our Wednesday morning community for the summer. Has been really special so far. And I think this is our 5th class of the summer series, so we're moving right along and deepening our practice. We know the basics today. We'll be working through a warm-up. We'll be working through some seated exercises. We'll be working through some standing exercises. We'll be listening to our body throughout, always mindfully scanning our body, paying attention to what it's asking of us and inviting us to. So if it needs us to slow down a little bit or to modify a movement, we listen to that. We listen to where the cranky spots are, where the tenderness might be, where the discomfort might be. We also listen when it's inviting us to deeper intensity, to a deeper part of the stretch, or maybe more vigorous version of the movement we're doing. So I'll try to share those possibilities with you. You find a version of the movement that feels good and works for you wherever you're at today. As always, we're drinking water throughout. It's a hot day out there, so make sure you got something to drink. And with these exercises, we do 40 seconds of work and 20 seconds of rest just about. And then we finish off with a meditation, mindfulness, contemplative experience. So we got a great class coming up. Let's get right into it by finding our good posture. One of the cores of the class is setting up our core nice and firmly and confidently, and that gives us good posture. So we're sitting towards the front of our chair. We're sitting upright and alert. Our feet are flat on the floor. We're engaged through our core. Our shoulders are down and back. Our chest is out and strong. And that last little cue to lock us in, we imagine there's a golden string pulling us up from the crown of our head that locks our core in. Really finding and returning to this position throughout is one of the essential parts of the class, challenges of the class. Anytime we do a movement, it's easy to lose that postural awareness. Always come back to finding this in between each of the movements. That's part of the work today. And we start from here just by taking a deep breath in through our nose, allowing our stomach to expand on the in-breath. Stomach gets nice and big. And then as we exhale, the navel goes in towards the spine. Just take a few deep, mindful breaths on your own to get started. Mindfully deepening the breath as we go. Now let's start to get some arm movement involved. On the inhale, let's raise our arms up overhead. On the exhale, letting them float down to the side, wiggle those fingers, move those wrists about. Nice gentle flow with this rhythm. Inhale, arms floating up. Exhale, arms out to the side. Inhale, stomach expands as the arms float up, coming together above our head. Hold for a moment. Exhaling, fingers are wiggling out to the side as our navel comes in towards the spine. A few more on your own rhythm here. Getting a nice deep flow with it. The posture is still engaged. We're mindfully aware of our body. Big smiles on our faces. Happy to be here on this Wednesday morning. One more time. Good. Let those arms fall to the side. Find that posture again. Now we're going to start to warm up our wrists and our forearms, give our hands a little bit of love, a little bit of a massage. This comes out of the Qigong tradition here. I'm just going to start massaging our hand by doing gentle little taps in a few different positions. So for right now, I just have 2 fists out in front of me, and I'm just gently tapping them in together. It won't feel like much at first, but soon you'll feel some heat starting to develop in the wrists and the forearms and the elbows and the shoulders. Great little fun, different kind of warm up. It's like a little massage for ourselves. Just gentle taps in towards the center here. And now we'll go palms open and interlocking our hands together, little taps on that meaty part of the hand between the thumb and the pointer finger. Keep that postural awareness sitting nice and tall. Big smile, deep breathing throughout. Feeling more and more heat building. Let's switch the direction here. So just flip those hands over. Gentle, frequent little taps. Now we're going to go 1 fist, just tapping the palm of our hand on that meaty part of the thumb. Let's switch direction here. So left hand hitting the palm of the right hand. Now we tap the lower part, sort of the heel of the hand together, the lower part of our palm. Just gentle, frequent little taps. The shoulders are getting warm, the chest, the wrists, the forearms, blood starting to flow from this little self-massage here. And now we'll go with our fingers, tapping into the other ones. Last movement here. 15 or so more seconds of this. And pause on that, letting the arms fall to the side. Get a little wiggle in, shake things out, always getting loose, but then finding that good locked in posture again. We're going to keep moving down the body, starting to get the core and arms a little bit more engaged. We're going to do cross body chops. So palms are coming together, reach up upper left, down to lower right. Come from the center of your body and extend, keeping that good posture. Total body awareness here. Big smiles on our faces. Let's go upper right to lower left. Good, and pause. Gonna do a little lower body stretch here. We're gonna kick our heels out, sitting towards the front of our chair, and we're gonna come forward into a forward bend as we exhale. Reaching down, grabbing our calves if we can, our upper shins, holding on to our thighs if we need it. If we can really reach for the stretch, we could reach down low. As we inhale, let's expand and find that posture again. Exhale, we go deeper into the stretch. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhaling deeper into the stretch. Inhale on this one, come back halfway up. Try to get that back flat. Exhaling, deeper into the stretch one more time. Inhaling, coming back to full sit-up. We'll go through this stretch one more time here after a little break. Good. Inhaling, full extension, good posture. Exhaling, leaning over, coming out as far as we can into the stretch. Feeling the stretch through the hamstrings, down through the calves. Inhale, lengthen the spine, find that posture. Exhaling deeper into the stretch. Inhaling, come back up halfway. Exhaling deeper into the stretch. Inhaling, coming back up to center. Good work there. Forward fold. Hamstring stretch. One more movement for the lower body here. We're going to sit towards the front of our chair. We're going to lift that left knee up. We've done this movement before this summer. Lift that left knee up, arms in front of the leg on the shins. Outside hand, left hand on top, right hand below. Pulling that knee in towards our chest, keeping our postural awareness, keeping our core engaged. Let's rotate that ankle around a little bit. Do some ankle circles while we're here. Loosen up the ankle. Good. If you're feeling strong, release that right arm. Extend it out to the side. Keep that leg being pulled in by the left arm and your core strength. And if you're feeling really strong and could go for one more difficult part of the progression, release that left arm. Hold that leg solid. For 3, 2, 1, and release the left leg. Coming over to the right side here, lifting the right knee up, right arm above the left arm on the shin. Posture's engaged, pulling in with our back muscles and our arm muscles, holding strong with the core. Let's get a little ankle circle in here. Ankle circle the other way. And extending that left arm out. More difficult variation. If you're still with me, feeling strong, reach that right arm out. Legs staying up nice and high for my core strength. Breathing deeply. Posture still locked in. And release. Excellent work there. That's our warm up. Great full body warm up, getting us ready to go. Hopefully you've started to crack a little bit of sweat. Breathing has increased, but if we're still warming up, we got plenty to do in this first round of seated exercises that will get us to fully engaged and ready to go. We got 5 movements, 40 seconds of work, 20 seconds of rest. We're going to start off with our bow and arrow, really using our mind to really engage all those back muscles, arm muscles, really feel like we're pulling a tough bow, engage all the muscles on this one. Next up is going to be a double leg extension with an alternating reach overhead. If the double leg extension is too hard, we could go alternating with the single leg, but try to go for the double, alternating, reaching up overhead. 40 seconds on that. Third movement is going to be swimming. Just going for a nice swim, really feeling the water all around us on this nice hot day. We're in a perfectly cool pool. That'll be our third movement. Fifth is going to be leg push-ins. So we'll make those fists again, pushing in with our knees, squeezing for 8 or so seconds at a time, taking a little break if we need it, but trying to squeeze as much as we can for the 40 seconds. And fifth movement, we're going to do a seated lunge. We'll come up out of lunge, go over to the other side. I'll give you a few variations that you could do there depending on the style of chair you have, and we'll make that work. But let's start off with the bow and arrow. So we're sitting towards the front of our chair. Great posture, big smiles. We're really imagining a strong bow on this, looking through, holding the bow, and then switching to the other side. Let's get into that in 3, 2, 1. Three, 2, 1. Excellent. So we're going to have a double leg extension with alternating reach overhead. So one arm at a time with the double leg extension. If the double's too hard, you could do one leg at a time and link it up with the opposite reach overhead. Let's get into that in 3, 2, 1. Good strong reach overhead, full extension with the legs and with the arm. Good little hold. Posture strong. We're not slumped over or slumped back. Three, 2, 1. Excellent. Always finding that posture again in between these sets. Locking it back in. We've got swimming coming up in a second. Basic variation, but if you've swum before, if you like different swimming moves, you know, different kind of moves, certainly work in anything else you know, but I'm not the best swimmer, so I'm doing the basic version in 3, 2, 1. Really imagine that water around you. Maybe it's helping you to cool down a little bit, but it also relieves the pressure in the joints and gives us a little gentle resistance to work our shoulders, our back muscles, our arm muscles. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great job swimming there. Next up are going to be leg push-ins. So we're going to make 2 fists, put them between our knees, squeeze inward with the knees, full contraction for about 8 or 10 seconds at a time, and then take just a little quick rest if you need it. But you're trying to squeeze for as much of the 40 seconds as you can. Starting into that in 3, 2, 1. Squeezing in nice and hard. Taking a little break when we need it. Coming right back into the squeeze. Working those inner thighs now. When we do those clamshell movements, we're working the outside of the leg. Now we're working the inside. Get one more good squeeze in here for 3, 2, 1. Great work. Last up is going to be the seated lunge. Coming towards the front of our chair. One leg will be in on the chair, trying to get to 90 degrees at all the major joints. And then we'll come up out of that lunge and come over to the other side. And now my other leg will be on the chair, outside leg hanging free. If that's not working for you, you could come to one side of the chair and do some lunges over here. You could also do something similar in front of the chair. Just make sure you're working both sides then, however best that works for you. But we'll get in this main variation starting in 3, 2, 1. So just finding that good lunge position, locking it in, feeling confident in the posture, coming up, rotating around to the other side, finding a good rhythm. Not needing to work through this too quickly, trying to just master the good lunge form here. Lunges are a tough movement. If this is not working for you, you could do some leg extensions. That would be a fine variation as well. Finish it strong in 3, 2, 1. Great work there. Time for a little extended break. Great time to grab a drink of water. Great workout there, everybody. Good full body range of movements we got going. A lot of these really emphasize that mind muscle connection, using our mind to activate the muscles. So really bring your mind, your awareness to the muscle we're working and give it a good squeeze to get the most benefit out of these exercises. Let's jump back into our seated exercises. We got bow and arrows, double leg extension with a reach ahead, overhead. We have our swimming, our leg push-ins, and our lunge variation. So let's get into our bow and arrow in 3, 2, 1. Pausing in 3, 2, 1. Great work. Next up, double leg extension with alternating reach overhead. If you need to do one leg at a time, that'll work as well. Good squeeze in the quads, full extension with the reach. Posture's locked in the whole time. Big smiles on our faces. We're going in 3, 2, 1. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great work, everybody. Next up in 20 seconds, we're going to have our swimming move. Really flow with it. Make this feel good, energizing, relaxing. Imagine that little bit of water around you, giving you that little bit of resistance to really activate the muscles. We'll do that in 3, 2, 1. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great work. Next up, we'll have our leg push-ins, 2 fists out in front, in between the knees, squeezing in as hard as we can. An isometric movement. You're not going to be seeing your muscles move a lot, but they are working very hard with that squeeze, that contraction, squeezing for as much as you can for the 40 seconds. So however you want to break that up with little breaks in between, that's fine with me. Let's get going in 3, 2, 1. Little pause for me. Little pause. Three, 2, 1. Great work. One more movement, our lunge variation. You could do it to the outside of the chair, on the inside, or this across the front version we're doing. If all that's not feeling too comfortable for you, lunge is a complicated movement. If you want to just do leg extensions, that's fine with me today as well. But the lunge is good to practice, and I think plenty of us are up to the challenge, and it's a great thing to work on. So let's get into our lunge in 3, 2, 1. Nice form here, always locking that good posture and straight up and down on my torso, 90-degree angles at all the major joints in the lower body, coming into the good lunge, locking that posture into my body. Three, 2, 1. Excellent. Coming back to center, finding our good posture again. Time for you guys to and me to get up out of the chair with a good squat form as we've been practicing, and get ready for standing movements. Good time to grab a drink of water as well. Excellent. So as you know, if I'm not sounding like a broken record, you've got this chair in front of you the whole time for balance. I'll show you a few ways to use it for support on the movements we're doing. But I will be moving it out of the way so that you could see the movements, and I'll adjust it as we go so you could get the most out of these exercises. Our 5 standing movements today are bow and arrow out of the horse stance. So we're going to do a little crouch and squat with it as well. Nice and wide, only coming down into a quarter squat, giving those legs a little bit extra work today. We love that. Then we're going to do calf raises. So we'll definitely be using the chair for this. You could be standing right up against the chair, or if you want a little extra range of motion, come out into an extended crouch here, using the chair for support. That's going to get a little extra range of motion on those calf muscles. Third movement, bringing back our swimming. Now we're doing it from the standing position. Fourth movement is going to be a squat with our arms overhead. So squat and hold, arms overhead, just about a quarter squat. We're going to hold this for 40 arms overhead. That's going to be a challenge just to hold in that position. Fifth movement will be dancer's pose. So we'll come up into a quad stretch. If that's tough to get into, you could just raise that heel as high as you can to your butt. And then the opposite arm is coming up overhead. So if we're in the quad stretch, opposite arm coming up overhead, chair's in front of you for support if you need it. And then we could come into a slight bend. That's the most difficult variation of that pose. So simplest variation, heel up. We could just stand like this even if we want, if the balance is not feeling too good. If we can, Reach the left arm up overhead, more difficult. Get that quad stretch involved, gets more difficult. So find the right level of challenge for you today and what you feel comfortable doing while still being near that chair for support. Okay, those are the 5 movements. Plenty of time left to get to our meditation as well. We're at a good pace today. I love what everybody is doing. We're feeling good. We've got bow and arrow out of the crouch horse stance position, quarter squat, wide quarter squat stance. Let's get into our bow and arrow in 3, 2, 1. Reach up overhead in between. It's a nice little variation. Find just a nice rhythm with it. Really squeezing all those back muscles, shoulder muscles, arm muscles. Imagining there's a big tight bow, holding it tight, clench the core, full body movement here for 3, 2, 1. Great work there, everybody. Next up, we're going to do calf raises. Simpler version is just right up near the chair, coming up fully onto our toes. Good squeeze in the calves. Chair is there for support. If not, if we want a little bit more difficult, we come out into a crouch, extended crouch using this chair. And then we come up and do a full ankle extension, squeezing the calf muscles. And we'll get into that in 3, 2, 1. Three, 2, 1. Great work, everybody. Third movement will be our swim. Let's get into that in 3, 2, 1. Feel the resistance of the water, flow with it. Feel the movement in your back and your arms, your chest, your shoulder, the core is involved. Working hard for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great work there. Next up is going to be a squat hold. We're going to come down into a quarter squat, maybe a little bit more if the range of motion is there. But the challenge especially will be we're going to have our arms, both of our arms up overhead. We're just going to hold it for 40 seconds. So sometimes we do a movement like a squat and we keep going through the range of motion. Sometimes we do an isometric hold where we hold in a particular part of that range of motion to really give us more strength and stability. So we'll start on this just by, we'll inhale our arms up overhead in 3, 2, 1. Come down into the quarter squat. And now we're trying to hold this for the 40. If you need to take a quick recovery break, that's fine at some point, but try to come right back into the movement. About halfway there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great work. One more movement in 20 seconds. We're doing our dancer's pose. Basic variation is just lifting that heel up to your butt. A little bit more difficult is getting the opposite arm overhead. Next level is doing that with a quad stretch. Final level of difficulty is coming out into a forward bend. So pick your variation, whatever feels best for you. Let's start with the right leg coming up in 3, 2, 1. And we're just holding this for 40 seconds. Hold that pose. Very difficult, very challenging. It is difficult to do a full range of motion on some movements. And then sometimes just holding a pose, holding a position can be very taxing, very challenging. I know I'm dripping sweat right now. We're working hard out there. We got a little bit more on this hold. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great work. That's our first set of standing exercises. Little extended break with some water here. Great workout this morning, everybody. Lots of good work, and we're coming to our mindfulness portion. After one more set of standing exercises, just about 5 more minutes, and then we close off with some meditation. Our 5 movements are the bow and arrow. So I like to incorporate a little reach overhead, come out of the squat, and then settle down into the squat as I do the bow and arrow. That's a fun variation, but really the key is imagining the weight, the tension of that bow, and using your back muscles, your arm muscles to extend it. Then we got our calf raises from the back of the chair, either out of the crouch or right up against the chair. We've got our swimming. We've got our squat overhead, squat with arms overhead, squat hold, and we've got our dancer's pose, which we'll be doing the left leg back on. Okay, let's go. Working hard through the end here. We got 5 minutes left to work. Let's go in 3, 2, 1. And pause. Great work. Calf raises, either right up towards the chair, full extension, or getting this extended crouch, full extension there as well. Just increases the range of motion slightly, if that feels like a good variation for you. Let's get a good squeeze in these calf muscles in 3, 2, 1. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great work. Next up is going to be swimming. Going for a nice swim here. I would love to go swimming on this hot day. So let's really imagine we got a perfect pool in front of us, or if we like swimming in the ocean, whatever we like to imagine. In 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 more exercises here, then we've got our mindfulness experience. We're going into a quarter squat, maybe a little deeper on this one if we could handle it, if it feels like the range of motion is there. But arms are staying up nice directly overhead. Quarter squat hold for 40 seconds. Let's do it in 3, 2, 1. Everybody's staying strong out there, staying solid. We've done all this core focus, this posture focus. This is where it pays off. Teaching our body stability, strength. Holding strong for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And our last movement is going to be that dancer's pose. Starting off with heel coming up off the ground. Next level is right arm up overhead. Next level is pulling that heel, that foot into a quad stretch. Most difficult, coming forward into a bend. Pick your best variation, whatever you could do. Go for broke here, last movement. Starting off in 3, 2, 1. Holding strong through the end here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great work. Great finish to the class. Let's come back to center. Set those chairs up for meditation. So I invite you to return slowly and gently to your chair. We've worked hard. And then it's good to practice being able to slow down, calm down, relax after a great workout. And let that resting side of our mind, of our body take over. Being active, being vigorous, working hard, being engaged is very good. And being relaxed and resting and even disengaging slightly is also good. Drinking water is very good. So now that our bodies are relaxed, the blood is flowing around, the energy, the breath, the oxygen, all the good nutrients, our body and our mind are ready, primed for a mindfulness experience. And this is our second time doing each of these meditation styles for our summer. We'll have a couple experiences with each of the 3 I like to share with you. They each serve different purposes. And this style of mindfulness, meditation, contemplation is a review. And so it's very easy to just feel like the state of mind we're in currently is obvious or essential, or there's no other way it could be, or there's no other way we could respond to our life, to our world, to our specific circumstances. But if we take the time to look at how we got to where we are, we can understand it more deeply, and we could change our path forward. We can notice how we got to this particular set of emotions and impressions and observations we're feeling now. And so the structure I like to use to review is highs, lows, and hopes. And so you can apply this to the last hour, the last 12 hours, the last day, the last week, the last month, the last year. but it's a mindful and loving looking back at our life to see how we got to where we are. And we look at the highs, the moments where we were most deeply ourselves, most freely ourselves. And we look at the lows where we felt unfreedom and constraint. And then we set hopes for moving forward. And so we start this off by finding a good meditative posture. You could sit like we sit at the start of class, or any other contemplative posture you like that you're familiar with or comfortable with. But the point is to be comfortable and engaged, relaxed but focused. And so we'll start off with some light breathing meditation just to clear our minds. And then I'll walk you through a series of prompts to look at the last day of your life, to look at the highs, the lows, and the hopes, and then to set some hopes. And when the different memories come to mind, just look at them with love and compassion and generosity. Savor the highs. Notice how you got to be most fully yourself, what led you there. And for the lows, we look at them with mercy and love and accept them and understand how we got to be that way as well. Let's start off by taking a deep breath in through our nose, allowing the stomach to expand on the in-breath, holding the breath for a moment, and exhaling fully out of our mouth. Breathe in peace, calm, and relaxation. Breathe out fear, worry, and anxiety. Now I invite you to bring the last day to mind from the time you got up yesterday morning. And let any of the highs of the last day come to mind. Any of the moments where you felt most fully alive, most fully yourself. Where you felt you had the best qualities of the best version of yourself. Joy or love or generosity or peacefulness or whatever you associate with your best self. And let those memories come to mind. Look at them deeply and notice all the different facets of them and savor them, store them up. Notice what got you there. Rejoice in it, enjoy it, and see how you could be more of that in the future. And then we could begin to look at the other parts of our day where maybe we weren't fully ourselves, or we fell away from that bright, luminous version of ourselves. Maybe we fell into anger or envy or sadness or jealousy. And those are all okay. We're human. And so we look at those moments with compassion and mercy, but we look at them to understand them. How did we end up in those moments, in those spaces, with those spirits? And so review those parts of your day with love and courage, and let go of any of the fear or anxiety associated with them. With each breath you take, release some of that negative energy. And then in the last step, we take all of the insights and observations that came up over the last few minutes, and then we set some intentions for the future, some hopes for tomorrow. Name them to yourself, name them to your heart. Try to live out of them with courage moving forward. So just set some intentions, some hopes for yourself for how you hope to be tomorrow. And we can close this meditation period by gently opening our eyes. We can stretch out a little bit, wiggle our fingers and our toes, and start to come to full awareness in the room you're in.
Hi, everyone. This is Z from Yonkers Public Library. Thanks so much to Sally Pinto and Alexis from Newark. Thank you to our community partners, WJCS, the City of Yonkers Office for the Aging, Friends of Crestwood Library, and Yonkers Public Library for making this phenomenal partnership. And we thank each and every one of you for being part of our wellness community. Be well, stay well.